This is a bit of extra content really, outside of the program, but it's about managing with your values. Now, what has worked really well for me in the past is holding monthly values meetings, okay? And the way these work is you get the whole team together and you go into this meeting and you leave hierarchy at the door. In fact, as an interesting twist, you might want to have a different team member actually running the meeting every month. The reason why you leave the hierarchy at the door is that this is an opportunity for everyone, including you, to be held accountable for how they've acted in alignment with the values over the past month. And I would also suggest giving out a prize of some description or another for the person that has or is recognised as having acted most in alignment with the company values. And you can do this through the form of a vote prior to the meeting, an anonymous vote if you will. And what this does is it makes everyone super aware of acting in alignment with the values, and also it makes everyone check on everyone else, or indeed pull them up if they notice that they're not acting in alignment with values, and that's you as well. And this is a real valuable thing. In one particular business, and this is quite a few years ago, where I first introduced this, we had a real disconnect between the front office and the back office, and something that might be more relatable in terms of a heat pump business. It could be a disconnect between sales and installations, sales and engineers, for example. There's not always a great bond there. But what it did do with this front and back office disconnect is it actually really brought them in together, because it showed how everyone has a different kind of role, yet they still have to act in alignment with the values. Possibly one of the most surprising outcomes of one of these meetings was that I personally got voted as acting most in alignment with the values. And it was a real surprise to me, because you kind of, when you're running the show, you don't necessarily expect recognition from your employees and teammates. I suppose the flip side is that you don't necessarily expect to be pulled up by them either, but it's absolutely the right thing. You know, you can't manage them on the basis of the values and then act differently yourself. So it really does pull everyone together. Also, when you do have this vote and you identify someone as having acted most in alignment with the values that month, do a certificate for them. I know it sounds silly, but do a certificate. In fact, do 2 certificates, and one is to go on the wall in the office, and it's the classic Employee of the Month certificate. Now, it may be that you end up with loads of these around the building, around the office, and you know, that in itself can be pretty cool, particularly if you've got a showroom where members of the public are invited in and they see this kind of thing, and it's, you know, it's displayed as people that have acted most in alignment with the values, and these certificates are perhaps displayed next to one of the values posters that you have in various places around the building. It sends out a really good message for potential customers, but also it really builds a cohesive work environment. Now, as I said, you produce 2 certificates. The other certificate you give to the employee for them to take home. Now, they may take it home and chuck it in the bin, yeah, but I guarantee they won't. Yeah, what they will do is they'll go home, just like if you've got kids and they're currently in school or were recently in school and they came home with some form of certificate, what do? Yeah, they show it to you, don't they? And what do? You pop it on the fridge with a fridge magnet, yeah, and you shower them with praise because they've earned it. And your employees will do the same. They'll go home and they'll show it to their family. Now, it may end up going in the bin, but for that brief moment, they will have an immense pride over that certificate. And most importantly, they'll try and get it again. Okay, and there'll be an element of healthy competition amongst all employees to try and work most in alignment with the values to get that recognition. Something we have to remember when it comes to employees is they go to work fundamentally for two reasons. And that's money and recognition. Now, if they miss out on one or other of those, guess what? They're going to leave your business or take their foot off the pedal, yeah, and therefore stop acting in alignment with the values. So, yeah, a values meeting. Have a think about that. As I say, personally, I'd thoroughly recommend it. It only needs to be a half an hour meeting, perhaps on the last Friday of the month at the end of the day, so you all finish it on a high. And on that note, it is meant to be a high energy, high vibe meeting. So it's not the time to single someone out and say, well, you absolutely didn't operate in alignment with values. That's for another time. You know, if you've got a particular issue with someone, you do that privately. This is for celebrating those, and particularly the individual, that acts most in alignment with the values. What you'll then find is throughout the month, you'll hear around the office people potentially pulling other people up on something they did or didn't do and go, oh, is that in alignment with the values? Now, they may well be playing a little bit with it, which adds a little bit of fun to the environment. But I can assure you, no one, including you, wants to be pulled up on not being in alignment with those values. So that will really elevate the importance of those values and you'll really get a result out of it. So give it a go. And as ever, I want to hear how it goes and what the reception is and how you find it yourself. But yeah, values meetings, have a go.